All right, all right. All right, all right. What's up, Panther Nation? This is your boy Big Brother A. I'm here with my brother, Big Brother J, the Frozen Panther. All right, and we're here to discuss a whole lot, all stemming from the Hall of Fame game. And before we get into that, first let's give a shout out to Luke Kuechly. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame, second youngest player ever behind Gail says to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. Had a lot of former Panthers out there supporting them, like Jonathan Stewart. Pep was out there. How was you feeling seeing Luke Kuechly out there?
Man, I felt great. Matter of fact, all right, so I had to put this on. This whole week made me feel like straight up, I don't know, man, just nostalgia, man. Like, I just felt amazing, man. Like, I just felt like, yo, bro, like, I legitimately are able to experience something, man. I'm able to have an opportunity, man, to watch not only my team win in the preseason and set the pace for the season, but in such a thrilling fashion, which we'll talk about. But I'm also able to watch one of my favorite players of all time, man. Like Luke is legitimately like, I'm not talking about like top 20, top 30. Like Luke is up there, bro. And to see him represent the organization, being a Panther his entire career, I was so proud of that, man. Like, that was an amazing moment, bro. Seeing his speech, seeing him talk about his family, seeing him give a shout out, and just seeing, like, Thomas Davis in the house, man. Josh Norman sitting right next to Thomas Davis, I believe. Like, just seeing, like, Ron Rivera there. Like, it was just like a reunion, bro. And just to see that and then have Luke celebrated. And even though he only played those 8 seasons, man, like, he was fantastic, bro. I wish we could have had more time to see Luke play. But at the same time, I'm thankful that he walked away and prioritized his health. And you know what I'm saying? Like, just all of those things are things that I was just going through my mind. Like, doing that, the only most recent that going to the hall was like the whole thing, and so, and the hall was beautiful.
Uh-oh. I think you zipped out a little bit at the end. Okay. Yeah. You back now.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, like, the closest thing I could experience to that lately was like going to like 2 years ago, whatever. I was just super excited, man, to see like him present Luke with letting him know that he was going to the hall, and just like I don't know, man, just watching Panther Nation be celebrated as a whole, and the fact that he ended it with keep pounding and everything, man. I was happy, man. That was a beautiful moment, bro. That's all I can say.
Yep, I agree, man. Yeah, well said, man. Um, you know, yeah, man. Like I said, I don't need to add anything else, man. It was just real beautiful to see. I'm glad we picked him when we did. We didn't have to. We had John Beast, even though he was coming back from a serious injury. Big Beast was actually one of my favorite players before we got Luke Kuechly. But Luke, quickly became, like I said, a personal fan favorite of mine. And, I even got his jersey that I'm showing up here. And, when I think about the Carolina Panthers, even though I became a fan back around 2001, I consider like the 2015 Carolina Panthers my Panthers with Cam and Luke Kuechly. Like I consider them like my true fans of team during those years. And like I said, it was led by, the defense was led by Luke Kuechly. So very glad we got to watch him. And, wish him well in his future endeavors. But the main thing, besides his induction, this Hall of Fame game, we actually won.
Real quick, shout out to Larry Fitzgerald, Andrew Brees.
Yes.
Shout out to them too, man.
Yeah, and let me say quick thing about Larry Fitzgerald. Like, I got so much respect for him as a player that, real glad he got inducted. My man played with the Cardinals his whole career. You got to think, man, my man had John Skelter and guys like, like those guys throwing to him, and he was still putting up 1,000 yards. Still, yeah, man. I think I saw something like he has more tackles than drop passes.
Yep.
Yeah, and just, and even though the 2008 when Jake Delhomme sort of lost that game for us, Larry Fitzgerald went off that playoff series, and he went off in the Super Bowl, and I think he did
Super Bowl. Yep.
And I think he did everything he could to win that game for the Cardinals, and it just didn't happen for him. But he's like, if I was putting together like top 3 or top 4 just all-star team of wide receivers, you know what, man? Like, it for wide receiver 2, I would have Randy Moss at wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2, it would either be him or Calvin Johnson. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up, but I would probably consider Larry. I would probably consider Larry Fitz, and then I would have my boy Steve Smith Sr. in the slot. But just shout out to him, and Breeze. Hey, my man got a Super Bowl with New Orleans, so you can't hate on him. He started with the Chargers. He didn't. They drafted a quarterback while he was there, so he went to the Saints, and he made a statement.
Yep.
So that's how you're supposed to do it.
Hell of a career.
Yeah. So listen, my man, he's an elite passer. Had led the league in passing for a year. Just it's one of the things like you hated facing him, but you respect him. And so shout out to both of them. And but let's talk about the Hall of Fame game. Okay, so it ended 33-30. Okay, Panthers win, and last minute play, our boy Haynes King, who's listed as our quarterback number third quarterback. He got he played the whole game, and he not only won the game for us with the last play, he actually played extremely well and had the offense flowing the whole time. Now, we do understand this is extra preseason game, Hall of Fame game, so both teams played like second, third string, probably mostly third stringers, and guys they picked up from practice squad that might not even be on the team this upcoming week. But let's just go over PFF. They did do a review of some of the scores, and just go over what we saw that we liked about the team, offense, defense, and overall. So let's go over to offense. Right, so just going off analytic PFF scores, for the top offensive players, they had Chandler Zavala as the top graded offensive player, Haynes King at number 2, A.J. Dillon number 3, and both centers, Nick Samak and Sam Haight at 4 and 5. Now, from what I saw, I think this is pretty accurate. What do you think? Pardon.
All right, so here's the thing. Now, you remember when we were talking, we were saying that, like, all right, Chandler Zavala, it makes sense that he would be doing pretty well because he's played as a starter. That makes sense. I could see that. Haynes King, I kind of felt like I don't see how he couldn't have been number one, but maybe Zavala was doing the thing that, helped Haynes King be that guy. I didn't really pay that much attention to his play while he was doing this. I was so busy watching all the other dynamics. I would say A.J. Dillon definitely had a good series when he was in. I was definitely impressed by that, which I knew that could possibly happen. So I was kind of like already knowing like, yo, like this dude, like if he gets loose, pause. Things can get real, man. So he got active out there, man, and got that touchdown. So I thought that was pretty cool. Nick Samak, like I guess because we didn't hear anything bad, that's a good thing. No news was good news because he was doing his job. And Sam Hack, I'm happy to hear that because we drafted him, so I was hoping that he would represent. So I think like. That seems good, man. I'm just shocked to not see my boy on there. Where's Reed?
Yeah, Jason Reed. I'm surprised about that too. Not one of the wide receivers weren't on there, but I do think they were graded pretty high overall. But I do think Haynes King should have been number one. But I don't be you really don't pay attention to linemen as much. So if Zavala was doing well against the third stringers, that's what I sort of expect for him because he's sort of our main backup at right guard. And like I said, the centers, that's what I sort of expect these guys. They're really second string. I expect them to play well, and yeah. So just offensively, and besides the players, I just thought the flow of the game was really good. I thought they called some good plays, so shout out to Brad Isnick. Hopefully, we see a little bit more in the next preseason games. But I thought he called a very good game for Haynes King. He called some run pass options. He mixed it up pretty well. And, Haynes King, him as well, he looked extremely comfortable the whole time. So, overall, I think the offense, that was an A+ effort, an A+ result. So, but, those top players, which, like I said, I'm going to say Haynes King is number one. I'm just going to give it to him number one because, he did get the winning play. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and but let's talk about the bottom five that PFF put together. Now, when you look at this list, the only person I sort of really know is David Moore, and Tyus, he's the one that had the running back. He had the fumble. But I'm not really. David Moore is the only sort of surprise. And I say sort of because he's an older player. He's, really been on the team just because he's comfortable with the scheme of our offense. And he's, known by Dave Canales. But from what we saw from the other wide receivers, I think this might be it for David Moore. I like the potential I saw from the other wide receivers. What?
And you know what? Oh, my bad, bro.
Oh no, I was gonna say. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, I think with David Moore being like older, and he had been like, I guess you would say, reliable for some time, but based off kind of like what we seeing in the game, like I said, my boy Reed, we talking with several other young wide receivers, some of which I've never even heard of. I did not see their name on the depth chart the other day, and they were like making plays and showing some things. Like for him to not have a good showing like early on, like yeah, I don't think that's the best look. I mean, he could still have like the familiarity points with the coach, but I don't think that's a good look for him to be scored in the bottom of the offensive players and him being the veteran that he is. Like this supposed to be child's play for you, man. You already got experience in games. You know, I would say the rest of these guys, Tyus, I definitely felt like with Tyus, like I was very upset with the whole fumble like situation. I mean, it happens. He did at least like make up for it somehow, like with the touchdown and everything. But I could see how that didn't, really that would at least cancel each other out, which would have brought him down. And like really the other guys, like I really wasn't too familiar with them. These like was like the camp bodies. I think like I don't want to say it like that because these are career guys, but these are guys that like basically like I think like we were saying they kind of brought in from the streets, and some of them are doing well, some of them aren't, and I think there's a few of these guys that just fell under that category,
Yeah. I agree, and they'll get another chance to see if they can improve their play and whatnot. But keep in mind this is 3rd/4th string, so like I said, it's not surprising, especially if these guys, they haven't really had any true NFL play, and this is their first time really getting true play in a game and whatnot. Maybe some rough patches for them, but yeah, David Moore is the only one that's sort of surprising. But like I said, to counter that, I do like the potential of some of these other younger wide receivers, and I'm hoping we get a little youth movement on offense and defense. So that wide receiver room, that's going to be really interesting come near the end of preseason, because if you think about it, if we have, let's say we go for 6 wide receivers, who's the 6 wide receivers you would keep on the team right now? Like, you got to keep T-Mac, you got to keep Jalen Coker, you keep Xavier Legette, now you got to think of 3 more.
I would say Horn, Mechie, and Reed.
Horn, Mechie, and Reed? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got those 3. The coaches might want to keep Bryson Tamain. He's, special teamer.
Yeah, he keeps getting mentioned.
Yeah, he keeps getting mentioned, but I don't know how much he could offer as an actual wide receiver. But he, but I could, I think the coaching staff might have him over one of those players just because they feel like he's more flexible with special teams. I think Jimmy Horn, because he's the only one with maybe like some special teams ability, like with kick return and whatnot. I know we didn't do that too much with him last year, but I feel like he has the best chance, especially with his showing in this game. He did pretty all right. I think he has the safest chance to be on the team at wide receiver 4 or 5, because he's the only guy that really has special teams ability as far as a kick returner or punt returner.
Like legit.
Yeah, legit. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this wide receiver room flesh out. But let's go to the defense. Now, there wasn't much defense in this game.
Oh, real quick, bro. Uh-oh. Before we do that, just want to say that made me feel better about the wide receiver room overall because I've been really down ever since like Brazzle went down, and I know we had other options, but seeing like that we got some other options, like some guys that stepping up, young guys, it made me feel a little bit better. I still, with some guys, well, I want Brazzle to, have a healthy return and hopefully he'll be able to ball like a dog next season. Him, Nick Score, and everybody else is down. But that made me feel a little bit better seeing these young guys got some promise to them. I hope they take the rest of this preseason to show out, man, and really like make some roster, moves, man, and really work their way on the roster and be able to find their way to whether it be special teams, but hopefully they can, get some good players at receiver and everybody can play a part. Because I think, man, we got some talent, so that made me feel better about that situation,
Yeah. Me too, man. Jasim Reed, he was a guy I mentioned before. I've been hearing he's been impressing in camp, catching everything, and it carried over into the game. So I do like a lot of this talent. And like I said, Brazil, I'm hoping next year, he's able to add to this wide receiver room and he keeps his agility and speed. And that opens up, a whole new dimension for the offense next year. But yeah, I am very positive. I am positive about the wide receiver room, and I think it's going to be a lot of good weapons we can use for the team there. But yeah, let's go to defense, and like I said, there wasn't much defense, very generic, but here's what we have as top players, and this is sort of a welcome, nice surprise for me. We have 3 guys at safety. Okay, Zachy Wheatley, and this is who PFF considered our best draft pick. All right, out of all the picks we made in the draft, PFF considered Zachy Wheatley as our best draft pick. All right, and he came away as the highest graded defensive player. I believe he led in tackles, and he also forced a fumble. Okay, so they say, look very good in run defense. Isaiah Simmons, this is an interesting player because, they didn't know if he really had a position, but he came at safety and did well in this game. Lathan Ransom, that I consider that's your boy. He laid a good hit.
Oh, did he?
Yes, laid a good hit. Was really all over the team, all over the field, and I was actually really excited with his play. So I'm not surprised he's number 4. I actually thought he would be higher up in the A's because he seemed like he was flying all over.
Yep.
And the 2 linebackers, Cam Gill and Travis Gibson, thought that was pretty good. They both got sort of graded higher because of their run defense and their tackling. So good for them. Good for them. They're like both. I believe Travis Gibson's an older player, but both did relatively well. But like I said, I'm excited at safety, and I really want a Vero and by extension Canales. I really want them to look at these guys at safety and see if these guys can beat out Nick Scott, which I think they easily can. I think they can easily beat out Nick Scott. Like Nick Scott, Nick Scott is sort of like, let's see, let me think of a good comparison player. Just a player that's like, he's okay, but, he's just sort of he's, I guess you could say like the David Moore for offense. Like, okay, he knows the system, But he's you don't really need to count on him as a starter. With David Moore was wide receiver 5. Nick Scott is our starting free safety, and I believe we just got so much potential at that spot. Like even if Zachy Wheatley doesn't get to start, I'm hoping Lathan Ransom can get it. Either or. I think both of them have like more energy and ability than Nick Scott.
Oh, agreed.
Mm-hmm. And like I say, I just hope we don't try to waste that talent, and our defense isn't as strong because we're wasting that talent on the bench. So I'm gonna need Canales, and like I said, I'm gonna see how this play out. But I'm just glad they came out hungry, and it was visible in the game. And just real positive. I can't think of a time we had like some good safeties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since Kurt and all them boys.
Yeah, Kurt and trying to think of yeah. Or even if you want to take it way back, with Deion Grant and Mike Minner.
Oh yeah, Mike Minner.
Yes, Mike Minner, man, you can't tell me Mike Minner doesn't look like a guy that he's like the guy that works as a mechanic, and he's like, listen, man, just bring your car on over here. I can hook it up for you.
I like see that he still just be active doing stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably doing some Panther stuff. I'm like, there we go.
Yeah, man. Man. Yeah, man. He's like the sort of first true hard hitting strong safety I could think of for the Panthers, and man, and this is random, man. I remember we had a player behind him called Nate Sally. And I used to love trying to build up Nate Sally and Madden, but I couldn't replace Mike Minner, man. I couldn't, man. Mike Minner, he had like a 92 overall, and I was like, yo, he was holding it down. But but shout out to him. Yeah, but let's. Mm-hmm. Man,
I ain't gonna lie, I was very happy to see your boy Zaki. Well, our boy, because when I started doing my research on all of the different guys that we drafted, I really kind of took a liking to him, particularly because of how I saw him move across the field, and yo, this dude will hit you, but you know what I'm saying, he's always trying to figure out where the ball is. And you remember I was talking, I was like, I see promise in him. He definitely I really this whole draft class, I see a lot of promise, because I also got to say I see that with Willie, but some of us Key Wheatley, even though it was later in the draft, same thing with Jackson Kuwaj. I see a lot of what he can do later on, but Zaki, I saw him making these moves now, and I'm glad that he's actually doing it. And then Simmons, with him already being in the league, and us kind of giving him opportunity, I saw that he had a chance to compete. Lathan, that's my dog, so you already know that's my that was my boy since we drafted him. So to see him get that hit yesterday, the other day, I loved it. Cam Gill, I'm be real, I'm not that familiar with Cam Gill, but I'm excited to see he made number 3. So it's all right, he doing something right. And even Travis Gibson, not that familiar with him either. But to see him produce like that starting off, I think that's really dope. So these guys, man, like how you were saying, bro, I'm loving the fact that we got 3 safeties that's really pushing now that they can take this spot. And it's Nick Scott gonna have to be on point now. It can't be no, if you're trying to have that, you got to beat all these dudes, fair and square.
Right. And even Trevon Moorick, man, he played well run defense, but you know, you got some young, energy behind you, young cheaper energy. Uh, you know, we could have a Lathan Ransom and Zachy Wheatley starting safety duo.
That'd be crazy.
In a year, you never know. Just uh, if they both can offer more in coverage, hey, can't hate on it. That's just more, better potential. They seem like they fed off well off each other. And like I said, it was noticeable. That was one thing watching that game, it was noticeable how the safeties fed off each other. Okay. Now let's go to the bottom. Bottom defense and
who was that, wait, who was that game?
let me think.
That's not even important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hold on. But while I think on that, here's who we have at the bottom now. At the very, very bottom, D lineman Taiwan Malone, cornerback Tyreek Funderburk, and 31 is Aaron Hall. No. Yeah, Funderburk. Sound like a principal name. Then you got Aaron Hall.
Principal Funderburk.
Mm-hmm. Then you got Princely. And then Corey Thornton. Now, one thing I want to mention, because, when I saw Thornton, I was going to highlight him because I was like, come on, man. But, he's already proven himself. And I see he's actually coming back from an injury. He's coming back from an injury. So, with Corey Thornton, I'm going to sort of give him a pass. Because, like I said, he's proven himself at nickel. And we sort of already are looking at if Will Lee is running with the ones, we're already sort of looking at Will Lee in that 3-corner rotation. But Corey Thornton, he's already proved himself as a number 4 corner with Shaw Smith Wade. I'm gonna just say he was rusty, but more importantly, man, Princely, I'm starting to get real worried about him. Like, I expected him to have the score that Cam Gill got. Like, Princely, man, you're this your second year. You were drafted high to compete. We don't have Nick Scorton. And PFF broke down his play specifically. He got thrown in for 7 plays, and he didn't do anything in any of them plays. And watching back, it seemed like whatever move he has first, if he can't get that move off, he gives up, which is a extremely bad trait as a pass rusher. You give up after your first move doesn't work. So, between that and it just seems like he doesn't have NFL strength because he's getting, stonewalled. And this was after, Jalen Phillips. Say that again.
You think he's kind of getting bullied?
Yeah, man, he's getting bullied. And, when he came in, we already knew he was sort of light in the ass, but like, come on, man, you were drafted too high to get bullied. I don't, and this same with, with Aaron Hall, he's more of a, he was sort of brought in as more of potential pass rush D tackle, but he's undrafted free agent. He clearly got bullied. Okay, but he's an undersized D tackle. So, you know,
Yeah. He's like a project.
yeah, he's a project. Now, note, like I said, this is his first year. So, I'm not too surprised with him. He's a, project. It's like, hey, he's going to have to build up his strength. But Princely, like I said, I'm starting to get really worried with him because in this type of game where the offense is sort of vanilla and it's like your sort of athleticism is taking over because they're not calling specific defenses. He should have been dominating their second or third string tackle. So you get stonewalled by backup tackles. Imagine when you going against they throwing you in to go against the starters. So yeah,
he's started before at some point, right?
Yeah, he started, and a big thing with him was his run defense was so poor that they were just like because if I remember correctly, he actually showed a little bit like maybe the first or two games, and he hit the wall real hard. And
yeah. At first, he started off, and I'm like, okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. He started off okay, and then he hit the wall real hard. And I was expecting, a year of, training and stuff. Maybe he gets, some more strength. And since he has the most so-called natural pass rush ability, he would, like I said, in a game like this, he would be able to show it off easily. But, it seemed like it's not there for him, at least so far. We're gonna see in the next couple preseason games, but right now it's seeming like he's struggling, and he might not be able to get off his ability. Like I say, he might have hit like the wall really hard. It might have been figured out. Like, hey, just use your size. He's not very strong or something. I don't know. But I want to do a special mention for bottom defensive player, Trevor Wallace. He actually, even though he's listed as technically our number 2 inside linebacker and starter, he played in the preseason game. He played in this game and he looked bad. And
that in itself ain't the best. To be playing in there, you already a starter.
Yeah. I think just the fact that he was playing in the game. Yeah, the fact that he was even playing in the game lets us know we're not confident in him. And I do think they're evaluating him like, hey, do we really want to put him as the number 2 guy? And, if we don't look at some of the other players, I do hope we might consider bringing somebody else in at middle linebacker. But I'm going to try to look at, some of the other guys that were in, like Sherrillis and like Jackson Kuwach, and see if any of them were fluid. I want to see if they were like fluid at middle linebacker compared to Trevor Wallace, because I was looking at him, and his problem is he's just not a fluid middle linebacker. So I don't know what we're gonna do with him, but
like he don't have the instincts, or why?
Yeah, I just think he don't have the instinct, so he's overthinking it, and that naturally makes him slower than what he can't use his athletic ability because he's thinking too much. So I think
do you think Devin Lloyd can help that dude?
I think he can. I think if you, like I said, if you allow Devin Lloyd and just tell, if Devin Lloyd could get him to say, listen, man, this is your one thing, focus on this and do this. Like, let's say, we can make Trevor Wallace pass rushing middle linebacker. Listen, you focus on just rushing the quarterback. And let's see if you could use your athletic ability with that You don't worry about coverage or like, reading all the other stuff. Maybe we need to simplify his role on the defense. You know, but Devin Lloyd hopefully can, offer some wisdom and help alleviate that. But I think when you're a linebacker that don't really have the instincts, you have to fall on your athletic ability and just focus on that. Like, I'm gonna give you an example like Thomas Davis. Okay, Thomas Davis was a strong safety, and then we moved him down to linebacker. And if you watch some of his recent interviews, he'll tell you he learned how to play linebacker from John Beeson. So there's precedence of somebody learning how to be a better linebacker from another linebacker. John Beeson came after Thomas Davis. But, Thomas Davis has so much athletic ability. We were just like, listen, we using you as a spy for Mike Vick, and we using you as a blitzing linebacker sometimes, and then that's it. Focus on that, which we did. We did do that with Thomas Davis, and, he eventually became an all-around great linebacker. Trevor Wallace, it seemed like, maybe if we would have had that type of building for him, type of system for him to say, hey man, maybe if Devin Lloyd was here earlier and we built up Trevor Wallace, maybe he could learn some instincts and learn how to play better. But, sadly, I'm thinking, it might be like too little too late. So I think our best thing is to, when we have him in the game, just like, hey, you're going to spy.
I'm not sure if you can hear me or if you can hear Big Brother Amazing A. Hold on for a second.
Okay, hold on. All right, you good to go? But just Trevor Wallace. If we start
for a second, I'm not sure. At least I couldn't hear you, but I can hear you now. So
okay. All right, my bad. But listen, have him just quarterback spy and focus on that, or like, hey, blitz a lot, something like that. I don't know, but he's probably near the bottom as well. Maybe just slightly above Corey Thornton. I'm gonna see if I can get the whole list, but from what I saw, he looked bad, and just like I said, you already playing in a game you shouldn't need to be playing in, and then he looked bad in the game. So, when I look at the overall defense, the linebacker spot is the only thing that worries me.
think so?
Yeah, I think we're good at corner. I think we're good at safety. I think we're good at D line because I think Derek Brown, of course, is gonna hold it down, and I think Cam Jackson is gonna be a good run defender. If anything, okay. If anything, I think Cam Jackson is gonna be a good run defender, and that's all we really need from him to really, do what Ashawn Robinson was doing.
Big Ashawn.
Yeah. The only thing is when I look at our linebackers, Devin Lloyd is coming in. He's gonna have to replicate his play from Jacksonville to us. Trevor Wallace is the second linebacker. We don't know what we're gonna get from him. Jalen Phillips is high priced pass rusher. We don't really know what we're gonna get from him. And then you got Pat Jones as opposite see how he comes back. I just wonder how that linebacker group is gonna mesh. That's what I'm wondering. I wonder how they're gonna mesh together. Cause I feel like Jalen Phillips is more of like I said, not like a true pass rushing edge, more like he can pass rush, but more complete. More of like I can run, defend, and pass rush as well. So he would actually do extremely well if he was paired with a guy who was like an elite pass rusher.
Yeah.
And or at least
Nick Scorton possibly.
Yeah, Nick's just someone with some energy and Nick Scorton could have been that player. Just hustle. I feel like I feel like we're going to end up putting more on Jalen Phillips' plate than he can provide.
But what about Pat Jones though?
Yeah, Pat Jones. If he comes back like how he did early in the season, he played well. That would help Phillips a lot.
Yeah.
And if somehow, if it's not Princely, one of these other guys can be a complimentary edge, that will help a whole lot as well. Just somebody's gonna have to offer pass rush because, like I said, our D tackles are all run defenders. The pass rush gotta come from the linebackers, and I don't know. I don't like that. Phillips, he's paid to provide that. I wonder if we're gonna be able to get it from somebody else. Because team.
See, my main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say a team can scheme him out of. If he's the only guy, a team can scheme him out and say, "Hey, we're gonna focus on him. We don't gotta worry about anybody else." So.
Yep.
That's
what
I'm
kind of scared of.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean you're right. Like that. That's what I'm kind of scared of because I don't doubt what he's capable of like accomplishing as far as like he gets pressure. Jalen Phillips is like quite an athlete. He's a big dude and all of that, and I do feel like he's a really good addition to the team. But this was with the idea of us having a healthy Patrick Jones coming back, which thankfully we still do. God bless him. Let's keep it like that. But also the idea of when we thought we had Nick Scorton. So it's like when we thought we had other additional pieces that we were going to be able to have, and I think like now with them looking at him and being like, well, he's good at getting pressures. Well, then let's double team him or whatever they're going to do. Like, I hope that we got somebody that can hold it down on the other side. And like how you were saying, like with Princely, I'm like, man, I really want Princely to take a step or two forward because, like, he unfortunately didn't have the showing we hope he was going to have. Like, because his running mate is supposed to be Nick Scorton, and Nick Scorton was balling last season. And so, yeah, man, I'm hoping he can figure something out soon, man, because, like you said, he was already undersized DN when he first started. And it's like moving forward, it's like, bro, you got to figure something out, man, because we need you to be able to get after the quarterback. Like, at the game, and I understand it's first preseason game, like, we had a few plays where we got, where, like, D-line got busy, but it wasn't a whole lot of pressure as far as I was concerned. I felt like that's part of the reason why Carson Beck could move the ball up and down like he could, because like it wasn't a whole lot of pressure on him like that. And I'm hoping we could do something. Even like the guy Aaron Hall, I did like some research on him, and for one, he got a he got a '90s R&B singer name. So I'm like, man, you're supposed to be smooth out here, man. You know what I'm saying? like you supposed to be representing, man. But on top of that, I'm like, all right, man. I saw him, and it's like he's another guy to where I feel like he, based off his tape, he looked like he has some potential. And I'm hoping that, like, for him being an undrafted guy, that he can really step up, because I love for us to win with these undrafted guys and be able to really, like, get good value, So, but I don't know, man. I'm hoping, like, something has to happen as far as that's concerned. The bottom two guys, as far as Corey Thornton, which you were saying earlier with the defensive players, To your point, he's getting back, so we'll give him some time to figure out what he got going on. I guess this preseason to be a good time to do that. But the last two guys, Funderburk. Hey man, hey Tyreek Funderburk, man, I like your name, man. You got a cool name, brother. For that alone, I'm pulling. I'm hoping you get something somewhere. But I don't really know him like that, and I don't know Tyrone Malone Jr. So no disrespect, man. I just don't know them two. So,
Mm-hmm. And another thing I want to mention, you gotta remember, like the only D tackle we got that's off for some pass rush was Tershawn Wharton, and he had like a random neck injury.
Yep.
And it was like he's out indefinitely. And to be honest, compared to last season, this season, I think he's trending on. We don't need to rely on him at all playing because he might be more so on the done side. Sadly, due to injury.
Yeah.
So Aaron Hall, he with his ability, he could offer something as a pass rusher if all goes well. But D tackle is a hard position to sort of excel in, especially as a pass rusher. And
Yeah.
we're running like a 3-4, and that's very hard on the D tackle to pass rush. The 3 down linemen. But we've seen teams do it, like the Steelers 3-4 back in the day. We know how it could add to the defense. So I'm hoping he progresses well. I'm hoping Aaron Hall progresses well because he could offer a lot. And I'm hoping Princely wake up, man. I hope he wakes up. But these next games are going to be more competitive preseason games. And we're gonna have the Buffalo Bills next, and they're gonna be the new head coach. Okay, new head coach. And let me check. Because I actually don't know. I actually don't know the head coach. It's Joe Brady.
What?
Joe Brady. He was their offensive coordinator. I guess they moved him up to head coach. Okay, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't either.
Now, guys, I don't know if you guys remember, Joe Brady was our offensive coordinator under Matt Rule.
Yeah.
And
wasn't he the scapegoat?
He was the scapegoat, and Matt Rule fired him and hired his homeboy to be offensive coordinator, who did even worse.
Yes.
Or did worse, I should say. And Joe Brady, went on to, bounce around till he ended with the Bills, and then moved up to O coordinator. And Joe Brady, this is actually an interesting point with Joe Brady. And I mentioned this before, but this I'm glad we actually looked up who it is, because think about it like this. Joe Brady became offensive coordinator, and Josh Allen actually likes him. So that system, Joe Brady, he actually really likes the offensive system. What the team determined was just the overall team and defense just wasn't where it should be under Sean McDermott. So they could have fired Sean McDermott, or they did, and they could have just let go, his whole staff. But they decided, hey, we're going to keep the offense because the offense is good. Okay, we just need to fix the defense.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what happened to Sean McDermott?
He was let go because they couldn't get over.
Probably where he is now.
I believe he was with the Bills, man, like at least like 8 years. He was with the Bills for a long time. Let me look up exactly.
Yo, that is, bro. I really did not even know that.
That's crazy. 9 years, 98-50 record. But his playoff record is 8-8, and that's why he was let go. He couldn't get the team in the playoffs where they needed to go. And I always loved him as a Panthers defensive coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, he couldn't get them to where they were going in the playoffs. But that's something, if Brad Isnick is puts together offense that we really like, would you let go of Canales to keep Brad Isnick? I think you would have to look at what the Bills is doing and look how they might progress this year and consider that. Because if the offense is still good and they manage to make a better defense or a similar defense, yeah, you got to consider it.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would be crazy, man. But it's like I said, it's going to be a lot of interesting little scenarios this season. With how we come out against the Bears. The first 2 games are going to be huge for the Carolina Panthers for the season. I believe we play the Bears first, and I'm trying to see who we play after the Bears. I think it's let's see. Sorry, let me. Okay, you know what? That's acting up. Let me try my phone.
Well, you type way faster than I do. That's what you do.
Man, the Bears and then the Falcons. Yeah, Bears and Falcons. Those are 2 interesting games because the Bears, was the whole trade we did with Bryce and Bears drafted Caleb Williams, and then the Falcons. Lately Bryce Young has the Falcons number, and this is a division game. We're gonna be playing them in Atlanta, and right now I believe the Falcons are even struggling at quarterback. Their quarterback have a lot of quarterbacks hurt, and Tua's hurt. I believe the quarterback Michael Porter, he's hurt. But they paid Bijan Robinson. They're hoping hey, we can take this division and at least change things up. If we lose both those games, I think I don't think if we lose both those games and our offense looks bad in both those games, I don't think things are going to be good for Canales / Isnick / Bryce.
Really? You think the whole trio?
Yeah. I think the whole trio would go under a huge microscope because you're losing against. It would be against Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. If you remember, we wanted Ben Johnson. We wanted him to bring him in for an interview. He turned it down. Yeah. He turned. He turned the interview down, and then he saw an opportunity with the Bears, took it, got him to the playoffs since forever, and their offense is good. Then you got Atlanta, you lose first division game, especially a game you've been winning lately. Hey man, what's going on with the team?
Did they make any significant improvements in their roster, you think? That you know of?
let me look at their draft. I don't think they made anything significant. I think they were just hoping that the younger pieces they made would progress more. I see they drafted corner round 2 and then wide receiver round 3. You know, I forgot they didn't have their first rounder. I know Jalen Walker, the linebacker, he's out for the season.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's bad, bro.
Yeah. I'm looking. I don't think they.
And we know they're paying because of next toys. So.
Yeah. So we both. And
I don't even like the Falcons, but hey, man, I understand, bro.
Yeah, so they didn't really add much. They added, like I said, Tua. And really they really put all their eggs into the whole Kirk Cousins bag, and that didn't work. I'm really not expecting much from them. Like, so, can you imagine, like, they got 2, if they end up playing 2 at quarterback, and but they still have Bijan Robinson, they still have trying to think of my man at wide receiver. I'm thinking about he's 6 Drake London.
Yeah.
They still have Drake.
Bro, I hate that they got Bijan Robinson, man.
Yeah. I mean, they still have Kyle Pitts. If they got the right
coach. Some dangerous pieces.
Yeah, they got some dangerous pieces. And I believe, let me see, 'cause I believe did they get a new head coach? Yes, they did. Kevin Stefanski. This is a guy, he played, was a long time head coach for Cleveland. I remember when he was with the Vikings. And he was,
his name. I don't remember.
Yeah, he was
too well.
He was hyped a whole lot with the Vikings for being a great offensive coach, and Cleveland paid him a whole lot of money, and he actually did for what Cleveland gave him. I think he actually did pretty good. He joined that franchise, and how the bad stuff that it sort of built around him. I think he actually did all right, but he could await that offense. He could, so
I mean, them having some new blood at the coaching level after all of the stuff that they've been through, that's probably like a good look for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I feel like I've been looking at like a lot of stuff, even like with the stuff with Tampa and like Baker Mayfield and them having internal stuff. It's like all these things is making me feel like it's all looking good for Panthers and these other teams is having some internal things, man. I can't even lie,
I'm gonna be honest, that's how I feel. So I was like, that's why I feel like we can't lose those games. We gotta be.
We gotta make the best out of it.
Yeah. So like, even if we somehow lose that first game against the Bears, if we look hot in that game and then win against the Falcons, that's what I'm expecting. Like, we gotta. I want to see us come out hot. And that's what that's what I'm gonna be expecting for the next preseason game. I believe it's on the 15th. I want to see us come out hot. I want to see, I'm not sure if Bryce going to play in that game. It might be just, the Kenny Pickett show. But I would actually like to see Bryce play in this preseason game coming up and the next one, and then maybe he rests for the last one.
He got to play in something, bro. Because you remember when he didn't play and we started off bad, people was like, they didn't get no rep.
Yeah. We can't do that anymore. We've done that for like 3 or 4 preseasons straight, and we start off slow, we get beat up early, and either our season's over early or then it's temporarily over, and then we make a little comeback like we did last year. And yes, we had a late, sort of semi-late middle of the season resurgence, but we started off bad. You know, you gotta remember at one point this season, people thought Bryce was done. Early last year, people were like, okay, it's over. And
Yep.
and believe it or not, it wasn't Bryce play that got us back. It was Rico Dotto going with a different scheme where we were running the ball 30 plus times a game.
Back-to-back 200-yard games and all
Yeah,
that.
that like and let me go back to I want to be specific. Let's see. Let's see if Wikipedia can help me. But I believe we were like 2-4. Yeah, let's see. 2025. We were 1, 2. Yeah, we were 1-3. Okay, so not 2-4, but close. 1-3. And then when Rico came up, we rattled off a 3-game win streak. And think about that, man. You know, we got an early bye. Imagine if we started 1-3 or 1-4.
Last season or this season?
This upcoming season. So last season we started 1-3, and then the Rico Dotto games came, and then and then we had like some back and forth games where we lost. We lost against the Bills, beat the Packers, lost against the Saints, but beat Atlanta in overtime, lost against the 49ers, but beat the Rams. And then we ended the season by losing all 3 of those games. And we still got in the playoffs. But, when you look at that, you look at like, hey, I run because we wanted to try to share with Chuba and Rico. Some might say Rico Dotto fell off. I believe, when he saw that he wasn't getting the same type of carries, he sort of checked out. Or it affected our offense. Yeah. I don't think he got burnt out. I think, with his style, he has to have majority carries. He can't do split carries. I think he played well even with split carries, but his style, you have to keep feeding him, and we messed up our offense trying to incorporate Chuba back. We didn't do that in a forcing Chuba back as starter and not going with the hot hand. But yeah, like just that's what I'm looking forward to. Like and that's what I want to end off. Guys, we got, like I said, we got about 5 or 6 days before the next preseason game. We know Haynes King is hurt. But he set a high standard, and that's what we believe here. Just setting that high standard for play, and I'm gonna keep that high standard for Bryce and Kenny Pickett.
Oh, for sure.
So against the Bills, hey, Bryce and Kenny Pickett, we might pick up somebody temporarily, as a sort of 4th string quarterback just to throw in there for somebody who want to throw. But I want to see how they play or how they compete, because if they come out hungry, I'm going to be really excited for this team. If Kenny Pickett come out looking good and Bryce come out looking good, I'm going to say, hey, maybe we done found something with Dave Canales taking the more overall head coach position, and Isnick being the offensive coordinator who's calling everything. And like I said, man, we got the talent to do that. It's just, let's see it in action. But
Yeah.
but I'll just say this one last thing, and you can tell me what you think. Uh, we I saw something that Panther fans haven't seen a long time is like athlete, like a bit like quarter ability at quarterback. And Haynes King brought that. Okay, he brought that ability at quarterback. He, could run, he could throw, and that got everybody excited. I've been seeing posts comparing Haynes King to Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, man, listen, man, the standard has been set. What are these, other quarterbacks going to do that's going to keep our, emotions high? Keep our goodwill high. So, that's what I'm hoping that they pull for the next preseason game.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. So I would say my perspective is watching Haynes King do what he did. Man, I was so hyped because when I looked at his highlights and I looked at what he was able to accomplish, and I would say this. I was talking to you earlier. I don't know if it was earlier today or we was talking yesterday. And I was saying about like Carson Beck. Shout out to him too, because he was balling like a dog. I understand that people, they had to give him his props and his credit. When we were watching, I was like looking up certain videos and stuff on YouTube to kind of get people's perspective on the game. I was kind of getting frustrated because I felt like people was glancing over the fact that we won because it was just like Carson Beck. I'm like, what about Haynes King? And it wasn't that I was trying to like knock Carson Beck because I'm like, he played the whole game. But the truth of the matter was, I felt like by the time Haynes King came into the game, it was like even. So they both played at an even level. Carson had some time to warm up, threw a touchdown. Okay, Kenny Pickett played. We stalled a little bit with Pickett. All right, cool. Now you get the real competition, which is King versus Beck, and just like how they had when they were playing in college, like they really had a serious competition. It was a shootout. It was like amazing football to watch, man. Like I was very excited. We could argue that defenses was like kind of left something to be desired on both sides of the both teams, but at the same time, it was like they had some good plays too. But offensive wise, man, I was like, man, it felt good to watch that. Like I said, I've been excited because of the game and then because of seeing Luke go into the hall. Like, just been a good Panthers week, as far as I'm concerned. But just watching Haynes King and how he moved, man, and how he took ownership out of the team, and how even though it was a preseason game, knowing the eyes was on him, and he did not shrink from the moment, and the fact that like this guy was looked at as being like just a running quarterback, and the fact that he was throwing laser passes, man, and they were landing exactly where they were supposed to go. Like that really made me feel like, yo, bro, like we might have something here, and like. When I looked at what I saw, when I looked at his highlights, it just made me excited that like he's showing this at least at some point at the NFL level. And even though it's like third and fourth string, if he can bring that like against first string level talent, that's a starter worthy quarterback right there. And so I'm just really excited about like just having him on the team and the fact that he's doing what he's doing. To your point, bro, like how we said earlier, I really feel like we're probably going to have to like sign somebody off the streets because, with him having a hamstring, Haynes King that is, issue that we're dealing with right now. We don't want to play Bryce too much because it's preseason. Kenny Pickett could get some play, but I don't know. Haynes King might already claim that number 2 quarterback spot from what I saw, so we'll see. I think they probably have to bring somebody else in so we can get through the preseason, but I'm excited what I saw from him, man. And I like, we both said we're not going to like jump too far ahead, but so far it looks really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all right, man. So like I said, man, we're gonna end off on that note. Guys, we want you to support the channel. So make sure you like and subscribe. And we're gonna stay here. We're gonna be watching the guys watching our Panther team, see how they progress these next couple games, and see if we keep the energy high.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. But all right, guys, that's it.
Panther Nation. It's a good week for Panther Nation, boy.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. Luke Kuechly, if you got any paraphernalia, wear it the whole week.
Represent.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have this hanging up, and I might throw it on later this week. But
I gotta find my shirt. I got the Luke shirt.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, this a good week. So let's keep this week going good, man. You guys, we got Sunday, good Sunday coming tomorrow. Everybody just stay positive, and let's just have a real great week. But all right, man, this Big Brother A, I'm heading out.
Big Brother J.
Yes, sir. So let's everybody have a good evening. And we'll see you guys soon. Like I said, like and subscribe.
Y'all be safe, man. Like and subscribe.